am Sara Cimmers. I am a realtor with Hopes and Dreams Homes, and I have relationships with each of you ladies through that business, and I've been really lucky that way. So Tracie is the broker of Hopes and Dreams Homes. She's an amazing mentor, taught me so many things that I didn't know. And Kenzie is authentic and loving and does help anybody who comes to her any way that she can. And if there's a path to homeownership, Kenzie will 100% find it.
My name is Tracie Peay, and I have been a builder and a realtor. I've been doing this industry, working in this industry for about 32 years now. I started when I was 4, so I've been working with people's grandkids now. so you do end up helping and becoming lifelong friends. So
Kenzie DeHaan, I am a loan officer with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation.
Kenzie, you have something very exciting to offer the buyers in our little neck of the woods in Davis County.
Yeah.
And other places.
And other places. Well, there are. They offer up to $50,000 to assist borrowers.
So that money, it's up to $50,000, you said?
Yeah.
And so what can you spend that on? Is it just lowering your how does that work?
So it is up to $10,000 for the rate buy down. They will pay up to half of your down payment. So there's a lot of things that go into it, what they're willing to do, and what funds. And this is why I say it's not a grant. Those funds aren't just given to you and then forgiven, is what we say in mortgage world. They're not forgiven funds over a period of time. It's 1% interest. But there is no payment on the loan. So at the time of refinance or sale is when you would pay the funds that were given to you back. The cool thing about the Davis County grant, actually, it's not surrounded, it's not a requirement of the Davis County program. It's not a grant to be a first-time home buyer. So I really like that about this program.
That really sets it apart.
Yeah, it does. Basically, the entire qualification process is based off of what your debt to income ratio is.
What does that mean in terms of, like lay people like me? I mean,
right. A front end and a back end ratio. The front end is the housing ratio. So it is your housing payment divided by your income. And that is a ratio or a percentage. And then your back end ratio is all of your debts included and divided by your income. So, and that gives you a different percentage. And so the Davis County grant program is based solely off of the front end. They do have a back end ratio requirement that you can't go over 50% of your total gross monthly income, but the front end is what they focus on. So if you're over a 35% housing ratio, then they will basically give you the means and funds to adjust down to where it's more livable. So some of the major players here when it comes to qualifying is that there is an income limit. They really want to focus on people that need it, and so, I mean, we go from one person making $59,600 a year all the way up to 8+, which is $112,350. So, there's a span in there. So really the people that, when it comes to applying for this program in specific, that would be one of the main qualifiers to look at. How many people reside in the home? And okay, if our tax returns say that we made $100,000 and there's only 2 of us, this program isn't going to be the program for you because you're over the income limit. However, I do think you should still reach out because there are lots of programs out there. This is not the only one. This is the one.
And so you don't have to be a first-time home buyer But you do have to live in Davis County for this particular program.
You do. It is a Davis County
Do
program.
you have to live in Davis County before you apply, or is it just what you buy?
Nope. Only requirement when it comes to this program, as far as coming in with your own funds, is $1,000 of your own funds has to be contributed, and that can be in the form of earnest money, so that will count. And then you can borrow the funds from either Utah Housing as a second mortgage, or you can be gifted those funds for the other half of the down payment, etc. But only requirement when it comes to this
These
program
are eligible. Is it, can I go get anything in Davis County and still be eligible for this grant, or are there some limits there?
So there are some limits. Condos are allowed, but they have to be, I mean, if you're doing an FHA loan, it has to be FHA approved. So that's okay, you know, but condos, townhouses, you know, anything single family is going to work. They don't do manufactured housing. So.
And then what about a price limit on the property? Is there any limit that way?
There is a price limit. It's 500,000. But with where the parameters are, I think that will be okay, just because you can only make so much and afford so much payment anyhow. So I don't see that really being an issue. You know, a lot of programs and things like this take a lot more work. So the time frame, they want 25 to 30 days. That's something to consider. You're not going to be going in and making a 2-week offer on a home if you're doing this kind of assistance, because especially if we're doing a Utah Housing as well. That means we've got a Fairway loan to close, a Davis County loan to close, and a Utah Housing loan to close, and all coordinate and speak to each other in the background. So
it's really good to find the right expert.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Or in certain circumstances, they are willing to subordinate, which means if you imagine like blocks sitting on top of each other that have with gravity, right? If you've got your first mortgage here and they agree to go into second or even third position, when you pay off this loan for a refinance or a sale, then this block falls down, right? And so a resubordination means that they are willing to go back up in second or third position for your financing, because in speaking about, you know, mortgage, we're saying if this one sits first, then this one gets paid off first. So when you're in second lien and you go into first, it's now you're supposed to be paid back should something happen. So yeah, they're willing to resubordinate in circumstances like rates dropping, you know, where it's a benefit to the borrower, but they're not willing to resubordinate. So you can take a whole bunch of money out, a cash out refinance, but not pay them back.
Okay.
That's fair.
Seems fair enough. Yeah.
So.
And speaking of applying, you know, the way that you apply, and this is similar to a lot of grants or other down payment assistance, you have to be under contract really to apply, which is why it's super important to get in with a lender like myself first, so that you can see, you know, based on the qualifications. That's what we do. We read guidelines and we look at your income and we decide if it's going to work or how it's going to work. And we have great relationships with those people, and in this case, Dakota over at the Davis County. So yeah, it is important to get your application or your pre-qualification done so that we can make sure that you are good to go.
And so people should call you first.
Yeah.
Right.
And under contract is the next step that they're going to need a realtor to help them find a property so they have to be under contract, ready to purchase a property before they even talk to Davis County about possibly.
Yes. Yes. And
who should apply for this loan? Who should, you know, who should call you?
Well, that I'm I'm biased. I'm everyone to call me. But
I mean, you don't even have to live in Utah. You just have to be maybe moving to Utah and going to be residing in Davis County.
Yes.
And you don't have to be a first-time home buyer.
We don't.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't care about any of that. It's not based on that. They want to help move the needle, is what Dakota says, you know, for people that are having difficulty affording a home in the housing payment. They want your housing ratio and your housing payment to be affordable, because, you know, with interest rates rising the way that they have, you know, they're really focused on affordability. So,
well, it's a very needed program, sounds like, because I don't know anybody that is having a really easy, fun time trying to qualify for, you know, buying a home right now.
Yeah, this is not the only one. This is the one we're talking about today. But
and not all of them are in Davis County either. And you service a lot of large areas. So, yeah. So what you're saying is if someone comes to you and they really are interested in this program and they don't qualify, there's probably another one that they could qualify for.
100%, yeah. And there's a lot of programs out there now geared and focused towards teachers, firefighters, policemen. We've got VA has amazing benefits. And I also offer $1,000 credit to any nurse working medical field, any teacher, any policeman, any VA, any fireman. So.
And I understand you have a lot of experience with helping people who, like you said, may think they can't buy a home.
Yes.
And you have been able to make that happen.
Yes. I love helping people that don't think it's possible. I mean,
when can somebody come and apply for this? Is it going on now?
When? On Monday the 16th is when funds become available. There is $1.8 million in funds. They are not making all of that accessible all at once. They are starting the first round, I suppose, with $600,000, and then quarterly they will reassess.
That was your knowledge of this program. I hadn't even heard of the program. And I'm very impressed that you know so much about it, because I think that that's really going to help people.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, you know what? I have my borrowers to thank for that. I have people calling me saying, what about this 50,000? What about my mom? To check this out, you know? And this is people all the way down, like super far south. So that aren't people going to look at Davis County, but I mean, word spreads super fast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this happened more than, I mean, it was a week, 2 weeks ago where I'm like, okay, this $50,000 is not something to joke around with.
No,
and
people need to act quickly on this, because there is a real need for homeowners to even potential homeowners to just stop renting and being able to own their own home. So I think that there's a huge need for people to be proactive and you know, call you and reach out to you, because that money is going to go.
Yes. Yeah.
So Kenzie, what kind of properties are eligible? If I want to do this program, can I go buy a duplex and then live in one side and rent out the other?
I don't believe so with this program, but I'm not sure that that's going to stay that way, because Fannie Mae just changed their requirements. So previous to, well, it's going to happen on November 18th, right? So right now, if you want to buy a duplex going Fannie Mae, you need 15% down. That's a conventional loan. And then you can rent out the other sides. Starting the 18th of November, you can put 5% down and rent out the other sides, and live and make income that way. So they are changing that rule. I'm not sure if Davis County is going to kind of go in line with that. The standard right now for, you know, purchasing a multi-unit property like that and living in it owner occupied is pretty much FHA. But for this program, no, it's not a thing at the moment.
But Tracie, do you see what I see? This could be an opportunity for people in Davis County who are looking to sell their homes and upgrade if they're in that $500,000 range to maybe attract another buyer or two.
Yes, absolutely. It's all about keeping the market moving along. It's all about helping people become homeowners that aren't, or be able to maybe upgrade their digs a little bit. So I think it's a wonderful thing that's if you've been thinking about it, now's the time to act. If you are thinking about selling and changing where you live, now's the time to act.
I
Yeah, I
agree
think
with that
so.
wholeheartedly.
And I hope Davis County is wildly successful so that some of the other counties can follow suit.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
There are a lot of county grants, though. I mean, almost every county has a grant. So, the income requirements are kind of the biggest caveat in a lot of those. And a lot of the other ones do have, credit restrictions or require that you be a first-time home buyer. So that is kind of where I feel that Davis County program sets itself apart from other programs.
Great. Yeah. But you do all kinds of loans.
Tons. All sorts.
Yeah.
Okay, well, more contact information is going to be at the end of this presentation. What is your favorite way, though, for people to get a hold of you?
I love calls. I love taking calls. But nowadays we have these phones that say spam likely or block calls that you don't know immediately. So I think, text and email is great as well. Really, I just try to mirror the kind of communication that my borrowers like. So if you're not a phone call person, then don't call me, then text or whatever works better for you. I'm adaptable when it comes to that. So
awesome. All right. Well, thank you for learning so much about this program and for helping us tell other people about this program. Yeah. And your